to a special online beer store episode of
Brutal Battle.
So once again, it's another new episode format.
I feel like you just have to say, welcome to an episode of Brutal Battle, and then we'll get into what it is. Because it's like different every time now.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot that, I'm trying to keep things fresh for me. And hopefully the listeners appreciate it too, like doing new formats. The only thing that kind of sucks about it is that sometimes I'll forget about some other formats that we've done. Like the beer blending episode and the beer and food episode. So we'll get back to those. Like we'll do it for sure. I have a blending one that'll be coming up within the next month or so, I think. Okay. So we're going to go back to that because that was a lot of fun. And the beer and food, we're going to go back to that as well. Just, But this I think is important because what we're going to do is each of these online beer store episodes, I'm going to order beers from an online beer store and then kind of review my experience with it. And also, the kind of the selection of the beers. So, but I don't want to talk too much right now.
I say you don't do this that often though.
Ordering online beer from an online beer store.
Is this just a ruse to have a reason to do it more often?
No. I think this isn't going to be a frequent episode. We'll do one of these probably at its most frequent would be like maybe once every 6 months.
Yeah, I would say
maybe not even.
Yeah, I was just going to say I feel like I know you order. Well, we'll get into why you order at Christmas every year.
Yes,
and then maybe once.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do repeat episodes. Yeah, most likely. So this is the one for Craft Beer Kings. Now they run out of California, so a lot of their selection is from California. So I actually think all these beers we're having on the episode, and we're doing 5. I think all these beers may be from California, but we'll have to get into it. I didn't look ahead, so let's start with the first one because we have 5, and then we'll talk a little bit. So the first one is, I believe, just a straight up West Coast style IPA, which is what I like to drink. And this is by Beechwood Brewing, and it's called Citraholic IPA. It's in a 16-ounce can. And it is 7.1% alcohol. They also have the information on the malts and hops, which I like. The malts are American Two-Row and Honey Malt. The hops are Citra, Warrior, Columbus, and Simcoe.
Okay, clearly there was going to be Citra in there.
So Beechwood Brewing is out of Huntington Beach, California.
Okay.
So let's get into this.
And the can is pretty, I like it, because it looks like two... Oh, go ahead. It looks like 2 lemons hanging from a tree, but they're hops.
Hence the Citra portion of it, like citrus. Yeah, so let's pour a little bit of this one. I'm excited about this because you know me in West Coast style IPAs, and it's kind of been a while since I've had a West Coast style IPA. So when I saw this on there, I was like, yeah, dude. So this is very clear.
Yeah.
There's no haziness going on here. It's like a yellowish orange.
Yep. I perceive it more yellow on the yellow orange.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I hear you. Oh, man. I poured it pretty agitated, so there's a decent head to it.
It's like nice, pillowy.
Ooh.
It smells so good.
It smells like beautiful, clean hop aromas.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's...
You're all right there?
Every time I take a really
big... Too much hoppiness?
I know.
So this is one of the big differences for me with aromas for, hazy versus cleaner style IPAs is that I always get that kind of like yeastiness in the nose on the hazy IPAs, and with the more traditional style IPAs, it's a much more crisp and clean hop aroma, which I kind of like.
It is. Oh, our
cat's on the move.
She always is on the table when we start.
Yep, always. And then she eventually leaves, and then she gets in bed.
Okay. So
there's a little bit of honey on the end, which I assume is from the honey malt.
Okay.
But I get a lot of like a beautiful citrus hop aroma.
And it's not overly citrusy. It's not overly sweet. It's just pure.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little pine, a little syrupy kind of characteristics, but it's all very well balanced.
Yeah.
Nothing really outshines the other.
And I think there's a little bit of a resiny note in there, like some just like pure lupulin just hanging out in this beer.
Yeah, it smells really good.
And I feel like I smell a decent amount of like a malt backbone in there too. I don't smell much bitterness. There's a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I
assume it's going to be a lot more in the flavor. So Yeah, West Coast style, baby. There's a nice bitterness in there. It's not too much. It's not too little. It's a nice kind of like smack dab medium bitterness. And
this has like a very full body without being really syrupy.
Yes, I totally agree with that. That's very nice.
I really like. Mm-hmm. I love a good body.
Yeah, I get the citrus. I get the pine. I get that honey on the finish. I get all that stuff.
This is really good.
Yeah, this is just a really nice, refreshing West Coast style IPA.
Yeah.
Now, we might not go as crazy about it if we were drinking this, some years ago when it was all about West Coast IPAs. But the market's been so oversaturated with hazy IPAs that this is a very welcome break.
Well, it's kind of like you always want what you can't have, right? So if you're able to get one beer a dime a dozen, and another beer is a little more, that style is a little more elusive, Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I really like this.
Yeah, and it is a little resiny on the flavor without, like you were saying, like it's got a nice body, but it's not syrupy. Mm-mm. Like sometimes with that real resiny flavor, you get like a real syrupy note to it, syrupy body to it.
I don't like.
No. This is good.
Yeah.
I quite like this. This is a very nice West Coast style IPA.
Okay, so these were all purchased from Craft Beer King, and I know...
Yes. I purchased from them a few times before.
You've purchased from them before.
At least once a year for the past 4 years, maybe?
And why is that?
So the backstory on it is Kyle Norman, longtime listener of the show, his wife, Kelly Norman, we're family with them. So she'll usually
be... longtime listener / only listener / family.
No, because we got Steve Pfeiffer.
Okay. Pfeiffer. We don't know him other than...
Yeah.
No ties to Steve, except fan. Hopefully, still a fan.
Unless we're like distant cousins, I don't know.
Yeah, not we're aware of.
So, so Kelly's always been like, look, I know Kyle probably wants beer for Christmas, but I don't know what to get him. I would rather put it in your hands because you know beer, get him some cool, exciting stuff, and I will just reimburse you. So every year for the past probably about 4 years, I've been doing this where I go and I order for him. But
and what do you do when you order for him?
I just double everything I order for him so that we can have it too. Yeah. So I purchase as my own Christmas present to myself exactly what Kyle is going to be getting for his Christmas present.
And it does work out well because that way there's more variety because a lot of them will come in 4-packs.
Yes, or 6-packs. One of the beers in here was a 6-pack.
So
the Citraholic was a 4-pack.
So that way you can split it 2 and 2.
Yes. Yep.
So I at first I was like, this is kind of, but
the other thing is
it's a win-win.
She gives a certain amount of money that she wants to spend on it. So if I just double everything, it's easier. I don't have to like work out, with tax, how much do I owe, how much does she owe, all that stuff. Because if I'm going to order from her, I might as well get some, especially because the shipping will always kill you price-wise. It's always a lot. And that's not because of obviously Craft Beer Kings. That's because of how much shipping costs, and when you are adding more bottles and cans, the weight goes up and the shipping goes up. So,
yeah.
But there's kind of like,
do you want to go into this now? Because I know you have a system.
Yeah. I've kind of messed with it in the past where what I'll do is I'll get around what I'm looking for price-wise, and then I'll add maybe a little bit extra if there's extra stuff I want, and then I'll go back into my cart and adjust. Well, first I'll see what the estimated shipping cost is, and then I'll start taking things out to adjust and see where the largest drop-off is in shipping cost versus the smallest, and then kind of figure out what weight is perfect for me. Like, what's the best value for the shipping costs? So, obviously, people don't need to do that. That's going a little too far with it, but...
Well, I mean, if you have the ability... I know sometimes, when I buy stuff online, I'm like, holy shit, the shipping is just as much as the item.
Yeah.
So if you had the ability to play around with it, or if there's maybe, there was a couple I was on the fence about, well, if it doesn't influence shipping, or if I take something out and it does, it might be worth that. I mean... We all do it. Okay, if I spend a little bit more, I get free shipping. And even when it's not even that much.
And I will say that Craft Beer Kings, every now and then, like I'll get emails from them on updates. So sometimes they have like a free shipping day where it'll be like, if you purchase $100 or more worth of beer today, it's free shipping.
Oh, that's cool.
But that might actually only be within California or within like a certain shipping range.
So we're in Maryland. So how much?
It's far.
How much is shipping typically?
It depends on how much you're getting. Okay. Like I've, and also how fast you want to get it. Because that's the other thing. I always go with the lowest option because usually when I'm going for something like this, at the lowest, the shipping cost on what I usually get will be like between $20, $25 for shipping. But depending on what version of shipping you want to get, it goes up to $120 if you want to get it like 2-day shipping. So I'm not doing that. So yeah, but
are we going on number 2?
Yeah, let's go on another beer and then I'll talk a little bit more. But what I was talking about with, like, Rebecca and I were talking about messing with items in and out of your cart for shipping. Obviously, that applies to all online beer stores.
Right.
It's not just Craft Beer King. So just, a thought if you guys want to do it. So the second beer we're doing here.
I'm really excited about this.
I'm excited / not excited because it could go either way. It could be really cool or it could be terrible or in between. So this is by a brewery I don't really know much about. They're called Untitled Art, and this is their Raspberry Cheesecake IPA. So it's an IPA with lactose and natural raspberry flavors, and the ABV on it is 6.5%, and they are out of... Where are they out of?
Mystery.
Don't know. I don't see it. Nope, they don't have it listed. Okay, they're out of wherever. Yeah. They're in space. I don't know. Hold on a second. Cool. There we go. Go ahead.
And any of all the breweries that you purchased from, had you heard of them before?
Some of them I've heard of. Some of them I've had beer from. Some of them know nothing about. Like this one, Untitled Art. I hadn't even heard of Untitled Art.
And the can
is really cool. It has the artist named on it.
Yeah.
At the bottom. Stephanie Heyman or something like that.
Yeah, Heyman.
Yeah. It's very like modern art.
Yeah. It's different shades of like raspberry type colors, pinkish colors, and just very artistic. Untitled Art.
Yeah. Huh. So the beer looks like a milkshake IPA, which I believe that's technically what this is. It's got like a reddish pinkish color and it's not clear at all.
It looks
muddy.
Kind of gross.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like milkshake IPAs a lot of time look kind of gross like this.
Murky.
It's just a typical thing.
Yeah.
Not much of a head sitting there, but small bubbles of what's there.
Yeah.
I want your reaction on this.
What the hell? This smells exactly like a raspberry cheesecake.
It does. It's like, it's very creamy, it's very dairy smelling, but it's also very strong raspberry. Like, super strong raspberry.
I hope it's not going to be, like, artificial.
Yeah. It says natural flavors, though, right?
Yes, it does.
So it should be fine.
Because it smells very, very raspberry-y.
Yeah. If you would not tell me what this is and then have me smell it, I would describe the best I could. I would definitely say, like, the creaminess, kind of dairy, and also... the raspberry, I might not nail it as raspberry, but if you then said, this is a raspberry cheesecake IPA, I'd be like, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I could say you could get away with strawberry because it smells, I feel like a lot of raspberries are a little more tart. This has a little more sweetness, maybe strawberry.
Yes. And that's a good point. There's a lot of sweetness on the nose too. And that helps along with that cheesecake because cheesecake a lot of times is pretty sugary.
Oh, let's see. That's a dessert.
It smells very good.
It does.
It smells very... when you think milkshake IPA is kind of what you want it to smell like. So let's go in. I mean, that's what it tastes like.
Yeah. It's a lot more tart than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. It's a good point.
I mean, I like it. I'm a little surprised because the nose is so... It gives you the... feeling it's going to be sweet.
Yeah.
And I guess cheesecake makes you think it's going to be sweet. Mm-hmm. And there's definitely some sweetness, but definitely some tartness from the raspberry, which I like.
Yeah. there's more bitterness on the end than I thought there would be, to be honest. And there's kind of, like, it lingers in a weird way.
Yeah, okay.
Like, it almost tastes a little, like some sort of cleaner. It's a little weird.
Really?
On the end, it's a little weird. But the initial flavors are good. The other thing is, the body is significantly lower than I thought it would be based off the smell. And it's not... It's kind of creamy, but it's not nearly as creamy as I thought it would be. And I think maybe part of the lesser perception of the creaminess probably has a lot to do with that tartness level of the raspberry kind of cutting through it and making it get lost a little bit.
Now, has Kyle had any of these yet?
He had the Citraholic.
And
that's the only one I saw him check into thus far on Untapped. And he liked it quite a bit.
You're like stalking him on Untapped.
I think he gave it like 4 out of 5 stars or something like that. So he enjoyed it. Maybe even 4.5. I don't know. I haven't seen that he checked into this one. But so what are your overall thoughts? A lot of raspberry to it, like you said. There is that creaminess, that dairy bit.
I mean, I like it. I don't know if I want a whole bunch of it, though. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a good, like, oh, that's a fun idea. It's cool. It tastes exactly like it. But there are some, like, I don't want to say off-putting flavors, but it is a little weird. What else?
So for me, this is more of a beer that, like, I like it, but like you were saying, I don't want a lot of it.
No.
So it's perfect for, like, when you're getting a sampler somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want that amount. Yep. And you know what? Maybe I would do a second pour of that.
Yep.
But I don't want to do a full 12 ounces. Maybe like 10 ounces would be okay. But I'd have to space it out. Like, you can't plop down a 12-ouncer in front of me and I just drink that. It's just not going to happen. There's too much fruitiness to it going on.
Yeah. It's weird.
It's weird, but it's good. I think they executed what they set out to execute. Yeah. So, good job, Untitled Art. So, let's talk a little bit more about Craft Beer Kings. So you,
obviously you order for them a lot, so you like their selection.
I do, yeah. Although I will say that I feel like their selection's gone down, or at least over the past year it has, because they used to have a very large selection. And right now it seems like they're kind of way more focused on just kind of California and maybe a little bit outside of California, whereas before they were getting a lot further. But then maybe part of it is also that I can't find other stuff on their website because they changed how their website's laid out.
Right.
Before you used to be able to go to a menu that has all the breweries listed, but they got rid of that recently, and now you can only search by style and like subcategory of style. So like you could search overall IPA, or you could search specifically milkshake IPA or sour IPA or something like that. But the problem is there are some of those categories that are kind of missing. And the other thing is you can't find specific breweries unless you have them in mind and you go to the search bar. You know, for an example, if I'm like, I want to search for Fremont beers, which I did search for Fremont beers, you know, because they're out of like Seattle, Washington, I have to remember I want to look for Fremont. And there's so many breweries out there that I feel like it's more helpful when they had the list of breweries that you could click through,
but that was
because you could just scroll.
For them.
I'm sure, but you could scroll through and kind of be like, oh, yeah, there's Almanac. I totally forgot. I want to get some Almanac stuff. You know, like, so I just think they kind of messed up a little bit with that. But
what kind of actual store do they have? Do they have a store?
Physical store? Yeah. I'm not sure. I think they do have a physical store, but I'm not sure. But then I think one of the things that kind of gets to me is their availability. They have an availability issue where, and it's always been like this for me, where you can purchase the beer that's on there, and some of them say out of stock. Like they'll have stuff on there from before, and it's kind of like a placeholder. Like if they get more, it'll show up as being available, but it'll say out of stock. But they have ones where you can order it, and for some reason they don't have the ability to have like a counter to like figure out how many they'll allow to be ordered or not, because a lot of the time, like every single time that I've had an order from them, they've called me and been like, hey, this beer isn't available, even though you purchased it online. Can we sub something out? So, like, that's a nice thing to do, to call people and be like, hey, you know, I'll work with you. So they give you an option. They're like, we'll refund your money for it, or we can offer you something comparable. What do you want? And then they'll kind of like recommend some stuff, which is cool. Like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I know. And you've had good experiences before. Except
for this last time.
Right.
Where I even selected the option online when I purchased the beers of call me if one or more of these beers are not available so I can have something else subbed in. And they didn't. They just refunded my money on some beers that weren't available and just shipped it without contacting me. So I then emailed their sales representative to ask why this was the case and how we can kind of fix this, and didn't receive a response.
Oh, no response.
So that's... Well, that's shitty. That's super shitty. Well, that
impacts your shipping then.
Yep.
Because you could have got more beers.
Yep, sure does. Exactly. So they kind of fucked me in that sense.
Yeah.
And I don't appreciate that. But they'd had a good track record prior to that. I'm chalking it up to, I think, they were just so busy at that time.
Around the holidays.
Well, not only that, but I was buying on Black Friday, because they had a Black Friday deal of a certain percentage off. So I'm going to bet you they got an insane amount of orders.
Sure. They were like...
Yeah. So I'm going to chalk it up to that. I'm not going to write them off because of this, but I am going to say on the podcast, like, that was shitty. Like, you should, if you have the option online...
At the bare minimum, they should have responded to your email, though.
Yeah. That is the thing that's inexcusable. Whoever's their salesperson who got my email...
Hopefully they got
bad on you. You're a dick.
I mean, if they just would have said, listen, sorry, it was Black Friday. We're really busy.
And you can probably copy and paste that email. Yeah. To be honest.
Not our standard of business.
It's never okay to not respond, in my opinion. It's never okay to not respond. So, but anyway, like I said, I've ordered for them numerous times. This is the first time I've actually had a problem. So, if I have a problem again, then I know it's like a real problem. But right now, like I said, I'm chalking it up.
I didn't realize you ordered on Black Friday.
Really busy, yeah. And it was a good deal. And when they refunded the money, they made sure that they did it right, and they also refunded the shipping portion.
Ah.
Which at first I was like, oh, they refunded it, and then I was like, wait, did they refund the portion that would be going towards shipping? And I crunched the numbers. I was like, oh, they did. Good.
Oh, okay.
So at least they did it right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
So they didn't like screw me over like, haha, I got some of your money. They did it right.
That's good. Okay. So next on our lineup is another 16-ounce can. It is by Wild Barrel. It is their Weiss Apricot Peach. It is a sour Berliner Weiss style. It is 5.2%.
Yeah, where are they out of? Probably California.
San Marcos, California. And on here it says they were founded in 2016.
Whoop. You pouring or go for it? Uh-oh. Getting crazy. You gonna pour me some? Or you don't feel comfortable?
I'm not good with pouring.
Got stuff.
After I got it all over the bottle or the can in my hand.
Yeah. And you gave me crap recently.
Sorry.
About dribbling. Nah, it's fine. So this excites me because Apricot Peach.
Yeah.
And Berliner Weiss.
Yeah.
So,
should be good.
Yeah. Very
hazy.
Very
yellow.
hazy. Yeah. Yellow with a tinge of orange to it. Can't see through it. It's got a decent sized head to it that just looks nice, fluffy, and soft. Mix of small and large bubbles there.
It smells really peachy.
Yeah, it does.
So it's so hard because apricot and peach, they're so similar, you know, like...
It doesn't smell sour.
No, it doesn't.
It smells more tart a little bit, and it's very soft smelling.
I'm coughing again. I'm like inhaling.
And there's a
else.
little bit of the Naked Cheerio on there.
Yeah. There's also a little...
Wheat.
I hate to say it.
Slight wheat.
I hate to say it.
What? Petrol.
Perm.
Oh, perm. You're going the perm juice.
Yeah.
Well, that'll happen with some sours here and there.
I know, but once you get something like that in your head, that's all you can smell.
That perm juice. No, it definitely smells like that.
Doesn't it though?
Yeah. I definitely get the peach. I don't know if I'd be able to pick the apricot out.
I mean, honestly, and I could be smelling apricot. Who knows?
I mean, just say stone fruit.
Stone fruit.
Because it's stone fruit, right?
No. I mean, I know it's not plum. There's a lot of stone fruits.
And olives.
Yeah, and olives.
Mm-hmm. Whoa. Dude. Ooh, that is smooth, creamy, and flavorful.
Wow.
Dang.
And Naked Cheerio-y.
Mm-hmm. Naked Cheerio on the finish, but I'm okay because there's so much fruit up front.
And it is a little tart, but a little sweet.
Yeah.
And no perm juice in the taste.
You know, when you talk sour, this is a very approachable sour for people who don't even like sours, to be honest. No. Like, this is... I mean, it's kind of like a smoothie. You know, it's like one of those kind of smoothie sours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a bit creamy.
Does this have lactose in it?
I
don't think so.
I mean...
Did I miss it?
I don't think it calls that out. I don't see anything that says so. No. I mean, there's nothing saying
there could be.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, but it doesn't say that.
This is good.
Yeah, it's very good. I really like this. Yeah. Yeah, that peach is really, really good in there. I feel like the apricot is just kind of folding in with the peach.
I will say, though, I don't know if this is a beer I could drink a lot of, much like the last one.
Because it starts to get sweeter as you keep drinking it. Yeah.
It's not quite as balanced as I would like. I would like a little bit more tartness or dial that sweetness down a smidge.
Yeah.
For my taste, again, I could see why a lot of people would really like this. Especially as like a gateway gateway sour beer. But for my taste, like we have a 16-ounce can. We have 2 16-ounce cans.
No, this is it.
Oh, okay.
That's all we got.
So I think it'll be good to share this. I don't think I would want more. I'll enjoy my portion, but I don't think I'm going to need more.
Right.
I could drink it again, but again in one sitting.
Well, it's funny because going into this, you would assume, sour. If anything's going to get you, it's going to be the sourness. But it's actually the sweetness that would end up getting you on this. But yeah, I quite like this, but I'm with you. I don't think I could do a ton of it, but I could do a 16-ounce can on my own. But I think by the end of that can, I'd be like, all right, I don't need to have that for a while because I'm, might have the diabetes.
It's good though. Solid lineup so far.
Yeah. So talking now about pricing. So if people haven't purchased beers online before, there seems to be kind of a bit more of a markup some of the times, especially with those beers that are a little more limited. So with this one, like, I can actually have some information on it. So like let me real quick tell people what got nixed from our order. I was trying to get Almanac Beer Company's Strawberry Basil Sour Nova, and that got nixed. Kern River, I've heard they have really good hoppy stuff, and I ordered 2 of their IPAs, and both of them got nixed.
Oh, man.
So the Kern River Virgin Juice, Juiced Right, and the Kern River Just Outstanding. Those got nixed. So, but yeah. So then and the beers we're not including in our lineup that we did get 2 Modern Times beers. We got their Octagon City, which is a fruited Berliner Weiss, and we got their Deeds and Exploits, which is like a bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout with like coffee and
don't look at me,
vanilla,
I have no idea.
Vanilla, I think. I don't have it in front of me, so I don't know. But okay, so pricing-wise, what I've kind of noticed here is if you're buying individual cans, it's a higher markup. And that kind of happens...
Well, that's everywhere, though.
Yeah, it kind of happens in beer stores around us. Like, if you get a 6-pack of something, per beer, it costs less than if you get, like, a mixed 6-pack of each individual beer. So they're doing that here. But the issue, though, is with a bunch of these beers, they won't allow you to get a 6-pack or 4-pack. You have to only get individual cans. So even if you're allowed to purchase up to a 4-pack or 6-pack, you have to order them individually at the individual price. So that's kind of... So just be aware of that. That's kind of sucky. But I don't... Obviously, I'll have to order from some more online beer stores to see if anyone else really does it that way.
So all of these beers that you bought, you would buy all of them individually?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
So it's weird. It seems like there's kind of no rhyme or reason Well, I'm sure there is, but from the outside, it seems like there's no rhyme or reason to which ones you can buy in a 4-pack or 6-pack versus the other ones. I assume it has to do with availability, how much of it they can get initially. So if they can only get like a small amount, I'm sure those are the ones where they're like, people can only buy one at a time. And there are certain ones where they will set a limit saying, like a 750 milliliter bottle, like some of the more special stuff, like you can only buy one of these per person or 2 of these or something like that. But I'll tell you, like the Beechwood, I bought a 4-pack of that. I was only allowed to buy in singles this Raspberry Cheesecake IPA, the Vice Apricot Peach Sour. The next one I was able to buy in a 6-pack, so that's cool. And then the last one is like a standalone bottle, so that was only individual. So, as you would assume.
Okay, so we're going to move on?
Yep.
Okay, so the next one is a 12-ounce can. It is a marshmallow milk stout with marshmallow flavor by Garage Band Brewing.
Just Garage Brewing.
Why did I say Garage Band?
Because that's the sound program I use for the podcast.
Garage Brewing Company. 7.1%.
They're out of someplace.
Temecula and Murrieta.
California.
Contains lactose.
So it's all California at the moment, I assume.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
12-ounce can, baby. I'm excited for this one.
And you said you got this in a 6-pack.
Yes. This was the 6-pack one.
So Kyle got 3 and we got 3.
Yep. You got it. So if you like this, we got 2 more.
Did you rinse me?
I don't know. I think so.
Well, do a little rinsey again.
Do a little rinsey.
Just to be safe.
Okay. I'm going to take care of the water. Okay, here you go. I'm really hoping to get marshmallow in this. If I don't get marshmallow, I'm going to be pretty bummed. And we have let these beers warm up a little bit. So they're not like super cold. So if there would have been marshmallow hiding in this, I think it's at a temperature where it should show up. Oh. Does it look like a milk stout?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Can't see through it. It's
dark.
got a decently brown head. It's got a decent head to it, too. It looks a little creamy.
So, I can smell marshmallow.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting. But it's like marshmallow mixed with coffee.
Yeah. Kind
of. Which is a little weird.
It kind of smells like a s'mores.
Yeah, it does a little bit. I could see that.
A little chocolatey.
It smells creamy. It smells like a milk stout. Like, it's got that creaminess. Yeah, I definitely get the marshmallow. There's a slight soy sauce note.
Yep. Very slight. Now, I mean, if I put this in front of you and you smelled it blind,
I'd say vanilla.
Yeah,
probably,
I don't know if I would
instead of the marshmallow.
Yeah. But because I know it's marshmallow, I'm like, oh, yep, marshmallow.
Yeah. Well, and if you're given the option, if you have it in front of you blind and they say, do you smell vanilla or marshmallow? You would probably go marshmallow. Because it is a little more on the marshmallow side than it is vanilla side.
Yeah.
And part of that's because there's a sweetness. There's more of a sweetness to it. It smells really good, though.
It does. It does smell good.
Like I said, there's that coffee, but then also as you keep sipping it, there's a good chocolate, kind of like dark chocolate.
Yeah,
note
I was like,
it doesn't.
It's not all sweet though. You know, I am like the dark chocolate notes. You know,
on the soy sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as I keep smelling it, I feel like the marshmallow gets even more pronounced. Like,
because that's the thing about milk stout is like you can easily trend into the too sweet.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay. So there's a weird flavor I got initially, and I want to see if you feel the same.
Root beer?
Yes. It initially tastes like root beer, which isn't a bad thing, to be honest.
It's so root beery.
It's kind of weird, but it's kind of good.
It finishes so much marshmallowy, though. Mm-hmm. Like, kind of like... Actually, an actual s'mores, it's kind of like the marshmallow has been like fire roasted and a little crispy on the outside.
But it's also so root beer.
I know! It's like a root beer float.
Yeah, totally. If they called this root beer float milk stout, I'd be like pretty much dead on because you could confuse the marshmallow for vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I'm confused about this.
It's good though. Like I like it.
I mean...
It's weird at first, but it's good. I dig it.
I don't think I like it as much as you do.
Yeah. I can understand why. Like, it's definitely very root beery. I do start to get the chocolate, though, as I keep drinking more, and I definitely get that coffee and the soy sauce I was talking about. So, really, I think the nose translates into the flavor, except for the root beer portion.
Yeah. I don't know where that's coming from.
Because I don't smell root beer in this.
That's so funny that we both got it. You didn't even tell me.
Yeah, I thought of it, and I was just like, I don't want to lead Rebecca on this, so I just want to tell her that I taste something weird and then see if she can get it, too.
I got it.
So I would say that's a very big confirmation that it tastes like root beer. But that works. It's good, though. Yeah, so while I rinse these glasses, let me just talk a little bit about... I think I've covered almost everything about this.
Yeah, is there anything else? What about shipping? What do they use? UPS, FedEx? Or...
You have... I think you have... I think the only options, if I can remember properly, are UPS and U.S. Postal Service. Oh. And there's like a price difference. FedEx might be available. I don't remember. But if FedEx is available, it's significantly more expensive on the shipping. Okay. So, I don't know.
And you did UPS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And UPS is never good for me. UPS is always terrible. I mean, that's not...
UPS is like your nemesis.
Yeah, that doesn't have anything to do with Craft Beer Kings, obviously. It's just... I've had really bad experiences with UPS, and I'm just not going to go too much into that because that's not what this is about. But real quick, I do want to say, though, they, at least from what we have here and what I've had in the past, they've been pretty good on staying on top of date codes for lighter style beers and hoppy beers. Like the beers that I got that were hoppy for this, when I received the package, were within like a month and a half of being canned. So
that gives you a little leeway.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
How about how they package? Do they package pretty well?
In an annoying way. They used to package with really thick cardboard dividers. So the beers would sit upright and they can kind of like hold them in place because they had like little kind of scored portions of each of the slots that they could bump out that would come up like right on the top of the can or bottle to make sure that like if it was kind of like jostled upward, it wouldn't move very far. So they've done it that way in the past, but the way I got it this time was some bubble wrap and a ton of packing peanuts. And that blows. Because packing peanuts get everywhere, and it's not like the good biodegradable packing peanuts. It's the super shitty not biodegradable ones. Those are the ones that break up easily and get all over everything. And because of static cling, stay all over your cans and bottles, get all over your house when you're unpacking it, and it's a mess. And I hate it when people pack beers that way.
But it kept them safe.
Correct.
Have you ever received anything broken from them?
No.
Okay.
And I have ordered from other online beer stores that I have had breakage issues before. So they have a really good track record of properly packing them. It's just for me, the way they did it this last time was it's just a certain thing that irks me. It's not going to be a big deal to a lot of people. So
rather get them intact, though. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Last beer. You excited about this one?
I am. Okay. It is by Smog City Brewing Company.
Smog City.
They are...
We have had one Smog City beer on here before.
Okay, and they're out of Torrance, California.
Do you remember what the last Smog City beer was we had on the podcast? Years ago.
No.
They're Snugglebug Sour.
Oh, yes. Now I remember.
I think it won a tournament back in the day for sour beers. It did awesome. It's very good. Okay, go ahead.
This is called The Nothing. It is a double chocolate imperial stout. And it is 9.3%.
I have a feeling I know what the reference of this beer name is.
And it is in, what size bottle is it?
500 milliliter bottle. You said the ABV?
9.2.
Yeah, it's up there. It's a big one.
Well.
Okay, so The Nothing, do you know what that reference would be most likely?
No.
Well, let me see.
Is it something I know?
Have you seen The Neverending Story?
A long time ago.
I think it's referencing that kind of like unknown evil in the movie called The Nothing, which was like dark blackness.
Because
is it super dark? Yeah, it's like dark black.
The beer is dark.
Yeah,
the
label
is just dark.
Yeah, God, that beer is so dark.
And the head is really dark.
Yeah, the head is like one of the deepest browns I've seen on a stout. It's an imperial, so it makes sense. And it's a really creamy head.
It smells really good. It's lots of layers of chocolate, right?
Yeah, but it's got like a really nice roastiness too.
I was just going to say, as soon as you said it had really nice, I wanted to finish your sentence and say roastiness.
Yeah, that roast on there. It's got a nice coffee that goes along with the roastiness, but it's like those two things are also separate. They're kind of folding together, but you can separate them as well. Like this is like a roasty maltiness, and then this is also like a roasted coffee.
And I am perceiving a little creaminess.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's not...
It smells good.
Yeah.
It almost smells a little mocha.
Sure.
And almost like a touch of hazelnut. Which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It smells good, though. Yeah. It smells really good, to be honest.
I like it.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's really
roasty, too.
Goes through a lot of different flavor changes on your palate.
It does.
There's some bitterness. There's some chocolate.
It's a little like charcoal.
Yeah.
Kind of ashy charcoal on the finish. But it's not in a bad way.
No.
It's just an interesting, more dry, bitter finish.
Yep. There's really nothing's really sweet about this beer.
Mm-mm. There is it is creamy. It's got a really nice viscosity to it. Mm-hmm. It's got a lot of dark chocolate and the bitterness to go along with the dark chocolate, which I think helps kind of hide any astringency from the alcohol. And, it's got all that roastiness. It's got some of that coffee, but I would say that there's more of that kind of like malty roastiness than there is coffee.
Yeah.
But they're both there. Tastes really good. I would really like this with vanilla added to it, or a toasted coconut added to it, or both of those things.
I mean, this is good. It's kind of plain Jane, you know.
Well,
I'm just saying because a lot of stouts, there's so many stouts out there that you're doing all this crazy shit to. You know, this is just, but what are they calling it? Double chocolate. And I can see that because there are like layers of chocolate.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right. It's rich, but it's not sweet like chocolate. Sweet. So, yeah.
Which is kind of refreshing again, because a lot of stouts out there have a lot of kind of perceived sweetness to it.
Yeah.
What do you think of the alcohol perception?
It's fine. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think it tastes like it's particularly low in alcohol, but it also doesn't necessarily taste like it's the 9.2.
Yeah. I mean, I could tell it's on the boozier side, but like, I'm not like...
Put it like 8.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, it's fine. I like this beer. This is very good. Very good. Okay. So the lineup, the overall rating, I don't have anything else to say about Craft Beer Kings. People, check it out if you sound interested, or if it sounds interesting to you.
Oh, why wouldn't it? You're just ordering beer online.
Well, it gets pricey though.
Well.
So,
Well, if you
it's not for everyone. But it's one of the
things that you can't get.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's one of those situations where are you really wanting to try stuff that's not anywhere near you, specifically California area? It's good for that. All right, so the ranking on this is going to be a little tough.
This is so hard because we have such a wide variety.
Yeah, and these are all good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we had a single one that I was like, I don't really like that. Gosh, this is a hard one. That's what she said, but...
Okay, Michael Scott.
It's been too long since I watched that. I'm going to have to rinse a little bit because I need to retry something.
Is it this one?
Nope, it's this one. The Beechwood. I'm going to retry the Beechwood to figure out its place. It smells so good. It smells so good. Okay. Yep. I know my...
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so my number 5 is actually going to be the Raspberry Cheesecake IPA by Untitled Art. Like I said, all these beers are good, but that's my least favorite of all of these.
Someone's got to be last.
Exactly. So that's my number 5. My number 4 is the Garage Brewing Marshmallow Milk Stout. My number 3 is the Beechwood Citraholic IPA. My number 2 is the Wild Barrel Weiss Apricot Peach Fruited Berliner Weiss. And my number 1, people probably could guess this, is the Smog City The Nothing Double Chocolate Imperial Stout.
This is so hard.
I know.
Because it's just so much easier to rank beers within a style.
Yeah. No, it is.
You know, like...
I'll tell you, that Citraholic is tasting pretty nice. I mean, they're all tasting good, but...
I always go opposite.
Whatever way you want.
So my number 1 is the Beechwood Citraholic.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice.
I don't know. It's just really...
It is good.
I found the most enjoyment out of sipping that tonight. So that's going to be my number 1. My number 2 is going to be the Smog City, the Nothing Double Chocolate Imperial Stout.
Winner!
My number 3 is going to be the Weiss Apricot Peach Wild Barrel.
Yep.
My number 4 is going to be the Raspberry Cheesecake IPA by United Art. Untitled Art. Can't see that far. And bringing up the rear is the Garage Brewing
Root Beer
Marshmallow Milk Stout. And
tastes like root beer.
To me, the root beer is just a little...
It's too much.
Off-putting.
You don't want that in beer?
I don't.
If
I do, I want you to say
Tell
that's
me.
What it is.
Yeah. You want to know what you're getting into.
I don't. I want to like it more, but I just don't. So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, we got 2 more cans of that, so if you don't want it, I'll take care of it.
Okay.
You know, pitter patter, get at her.
Okay.
There's a reference.
Letterkenny.
Yeah, the show Letterkenny on Hulu. Check it out, people. It's pretty funny. A lot of references to be made from that show.
Super annoying.
Yeah. So, So hopefully people enjoyed this new format of episode. Like I said, this isn't going to be super often because I'm not going to go out and purchase online beers a lot because, like we always say, I already have a bunch of beers that we're working on getting through. But the 2 beers that we got through Craft Beer Kings that we still have that we didn't do on this episode, those may end up showing up in Cellar Dives. Especially that Modern Times barrel-aged one.
Okay.
The Exploits and Deeds, or Deeds and Exploits, whatever. So, we'll see. But how did you feel about this? The beers were great, so that's all that matters.
I know. It was good because you didn't talk a lot, so I could just get to the drinking.
Yeah. Well, I think I did talk a decent amount. Oh. But I think this is good because if anyone's ever had any interest in ordering beer online, it kind of gives you some extra information from a customer perspective. And then also...
but not every state can do this, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's another thing to point out, and good point. You have to make sure that they can actually ship to your state. We are lucky because in Maryland a few years ago, they changed the laws so that you could order alcohol online to receive from licensed things. Like it's not legal for you to mail beer or alcohol or receive it from another personal or another individual, but you can order it online.
Right.
So yeah, check with your state laws. It just depends.
We're not promoting anything illegal here.
No, we never do.
Never.
So anyway, did you have anything else to say about this?
I don't think so. Do you?
Nope. Just thanks everyone for checking us out. And until next time,
keep it brutal.
I feel so